Hey guys, I am here at my buddy Eric's house, and he has a YouTube channel called Country Living Experience. I'm going to put the link to that in the description, and we're here today to see what he's got going on in the garden. Even though it's been chilly out here in East Texas, the nights are getting down to what, mid-20s or so?
High 20s up
High
here.
20s.
Yeah.
Things can still grow, and we're going to check that out right now. All right, so we are in Eric's garden right here, and we are going to look at a few things. But Eric here is going to introduce himself and his channel.
Hey, how you doing, everybody? My name is Eric. My channel is Country Living Experience, and Pete and I live about an hour apart from one another.
Roughly, yeah.
I'm an hour north of him in East Texas. So I'd love to appreciate him coming over, and I'd love to show you the garden.
All right, so here we are looking at what? The collards. Collards look pretty good here. Like we said, the nights have been in the 20s, mid-upper 20s here, and things can still grow. So it's nice to have all the nice greens during the winter time. So if you live in the south here, don't think that you can't grow stuff in the winter time, but you sure can. There's a lot of vegetables that'll do well at night. With the cold weathers that we get.
This is absolutely the most cold hardy vegetable that I have ever grown. Beside kale. I guess you could say the kale and the collards are about the same, but this is amazing along with the kale because both of them withstand the hot Texas heat and the cold. It's pretty amazing.
Yeah, they are. All right, next here we have marjoram here for your spices, and over here we have oregano, very cold hardy plants. And if you're an Italian boy, oregano is something to have.
We also got some rosemary.
Rosemary too? We're going to check that out too. Yeah, that's a big rosemary plant there. That's pretty good size, buddy.
Yeah, it's not messing around.
Yeah.
You can see it took a little hit from the...
Yeah, it did take a little hit from the cold right up here. But it's not that bad. Oh, that smells wonderful, man. Oh, smells great. Looks like your peas didn't do so well. These are sweet peas?
Yeah, they're some of the Wando peas actually you gave.
Oh, the Wando peas.
And they are also sugar snaps. And they were doing beautifully, and then they just got hit way too hard the other day. You know, they love the cold, but it was just too much of a freeze.
Now, those of you that are not familiar with the Wando peas, in the south, they are very heat tolerant, these Wando peas. They are a shelling pea, so you have to take the shells off to eat them. But they are delicious. If you shell them and just eat them raw, they are delicious. All right, guys, so this here we have rapini. This is a very delicious green that the Italians eat a lot. If you cook them down, boil them a little bit, and or actually just cook them down in a pan and was sauteed in garlic, they're delicious.
You can see where the little, it puts out little broccoli type heads on it. It's a member of the same family. But unfortunately, you can see our weather's been so inconsistent over the last few months that it bolted, but now it's too cold, and it really doesn't know what to do. So
yeah,
extreme fluctuations in temperature are just not good for it. I'm not going to get any yield from it essentially because it doesn't know whether to bolt or whether to, you know, it doesn't know what to do.
Right.
So unfortunately, this crop has lost. It even actually started to seed out on this one.
Well, you can always dry those seeds out and plant them again. All right, what do we got here, Eric?
These are two types of Chinese cabbage, and they do really well in the cold. But unfortunately, again, like the rapini, they decided to bolt. They weren't able to handle the hot and cold fluctuations. So if it's going to be cold, it's going to be cold and they'll do well. If it's going to be hot, they'll do okay, but the fluctuation in temperature just sends these things.
And we've had a lot of that. We've had days in the 70s here, low 70s, and then at night getting down to the 20s. It's pretty crazy.
Yeah, it's out of control.
And it takes a beating on your vegetables. It really does. All right, so we have what, kale here?
Yeah, this is kale, and this has been in the ground for darn near a year. So I believe I planted this last February, and as you can see how long these stalks are. They came up in the spring and produced beautiful kale, and then the summer the heat kind of hurt them a little bit, and they started to die back, and the bugs got them. But then if you spray them regularly, they will come back, and they are obviously really cold hardy here. There's no damage from that those freezes we've had over the last couple of weeks. Perfect. Kale will handle pretty much anything.
Yeah.
It's great green to have.
I agree. All right, here we have Swiss chard, one of my favorites, right here. So what's going on with these here?
Well, Swiss chard, a lot of people don't know this, but it is incredibly hardy as well. Some people think it's maybe just a winter vegetable or summer vegetable. It actually can handle all types of temperatures, and a few of these plants that you see here, the little bit bigger ones, they have been in the ground in this spot for almost 2 years.
Wow.
The smaller ones, I've added some in between where some have died because they do die off, but I've added some, and I believe this is one of the ones. You can see it's starting to come back. It died back a little bit, but it's starting to come back once again, and they've been in the ground for a very long time. Keep producing over and over.
Yep. I agree. Mine last year through the summer Texas heat, we're talking July, August, and parts of September where it's over 100 degrees every day. As long as you keep them watered, they're fine. They really are.
Yep. And it's one of the things I really don't have to worry about too much in the garden. It's not attacked by bugs really that much.
Yeah, it's good. Great. And here it looks like you have, what, broccoli coming up?
Yeah, there's some broccoli here. Unfortunately, the temperature fluctuations affected the germination of these. So they didn't come up at the proper time, and then it got a little bit warmer, and they did well, and then they stunted their growth. So I don't really know if they're going to do anything, but they seem to be doing really well right now. Unfortunately, in Texas, I think it's going to heat up pretty quickly, so I do not believe that I'll get a yield out of these, unfortunately.
Yeah. All right, so Eric, what's going on here?
Well, we've got our raspberry trellis here, and I had to really build a strong trellis because these raspberries got out of hand pretty quickly, and they haven't produced canes like a lot of normal raspberries. They've really vined out, kind of like a black cap raspberry, and I don't know why that is, but we've created this really strong trellis out of this cattle panel and these posts, and it holds them up great. We had a great yield last year, and hopefully this year it'll be even better because of the height of the trellis.
Yeah, it looks pretty good actually. Yeah, it looks really good. Really good. All right, Eric, so I've seen the video you building this here. This is really cool. This is something I need to do. A little storage place for all your garden tools. I really didn't want to keep running back and forth to my barn constantly to get tools or even put them in a toolbox and come out, because obviously in the garden you have all kinds of different things. So a garden shed, a tiny garden shed like this just for your essentials, I think is a really great idea for anybody. And maybe Pete will link in the description below, or even maybe in one of the things above. I'll put a link to this video.
For this one, and maybe the raspberry trellis, I don't know. But yeah, this one is made with a Japanese wood burning technique to preserve the exterior here. Yeah,
in fact, here, let me show them the side real quick.
Yeah,
it's got that burnt, well, it's actually burnt, the surface, the skin of the wood, or whatever you want to call it.
And that helps to preserve it from weather, rot, and bugs, actually.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah, and here you just keep all the stuff you use in the garden. Yep, sprayers, shovels.
Yeah, we've got a shovel, a rake for the back to Eden style garden. We got definitely our garden sprayers, which we use a lot of. Our different, we've got some Epsom salt, some kelp meal, and copper, different things we use in our organic gardening all the time. Tools, our moisture meter and pH meter, just different things like that we need always.
Yep, absolutely.
You don't want to lug back and forth all the time.
Yeah. All right, here, looks like you got a little bit of lettuce growing here.
Yeah, this one, same with the broccoli, was affected a lot by the hot cold. It had trouble germinating, but once it did, you know, this is little gem, so it's not going to get much bigger than this. And it's got a good flavor to it right now.
Yeah, I'm sure it does. Yeah.
Yeah, great. But you can see it was spotty germination. There's a lot of space in between, but it's another good winter.
Now you got to remember, guys, it's January here. Now I know you guys up north, with where we grew up in Michigan, and we know. Yeah. Trust me, we know what the cold weather's like and what it's all about. But this is January here in East Texas, and we got stuff growing here. So you can always produce some food. All right, guys, here we have Eric's greenhouse, and you put this up last year, right?
I did.
So this is a nice way, or decent way, to put up a greenhouse without breaking the wallet. And it works.
Yeah, it only cost me $325 to make this thing, and that's it. It's 14 by 18, and that includes the door, the glass door here in the front, for $325.
So hopefully next year you're gonna get this thing rocking and rolling, or this year I should say.
Hopefully. Unfortunately, in Texas the fire ants are really bad.
Yeah.
So the floor of this at one point was you know, just compost, and I was going to plant directly in the ground. Yeah. But the ants took it over really quick, which precluded me from really going inside and taking care of it a lot. And then the weeds took over because I had the sides up in the summertime to let the heat out. So this year, I think I may lay a concrete pad and do all potted on the inside. Right now, if you guys want to see, just through the door, it's what, maybe 43 out here, Pete?
Yeah, it's in the 40s.
Give or take. I got a thermometer in there. It's, I don't know if you guys can see it through that screen, but it's a little over 60, but it's 62 degrees.
So $325, you said?
Yes.
That's pretty good. He's got little citrus trees in here. You got a lime tree over here. And you can see here in the video the little limes and the little flower there. And yeah, it looks really nice.
Yeah, they're doing pretty well. You know, it doesn't get super cold here in East Texas, but in the 20s at nighttime, and it stays, you know, in the high 40s inside. And, you know, it's 43 outside right now. I think it's 62 in there, so it's about a 20-degree difference, which really helps. And those citrus trees are still fruiting out.
Yeah. We're in January, and it's in the 40s here, and there's a flower on that thing. That's nice.
Yeah.
All right, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. I would appreciate it if you would like, subscribe, and share this video. Please hit the notification bell when you subscribe. That'll notify you to a new video that I put out. Also, check out Eric's channel. I'm going to put a link in the description below the video here. And check out his videos. I'm going to put a link to some of the things like that storage shed for your garden and your
the raspberry
trellis.
I've also got a video on making the greenhouse. If y'all make it over to the channel, check that one out too.
Yeah. All right, guys, so I appreciate you watching, and I will see you in the next video.
Thank you.